Let's take a look at this civilian pilot who takes off out of Fort Myers, Florida. He gets into a dust-up with the controller. There's a lot of interaction back and forth. I want to talk about the difference between a commercial airline pilot, a professional, and a civilian airline pilot, and all of the stuff that takes place. Hang out to the end because this has a kind of a shocking ending.
262 Whiskey Sierra to tower. Ground.
Face tower or face left?
Page ground, please.
Okay, you have face ground. What is your request?
We're at Bravo Hangar with Alpha. Request flight following to X01. 262 Whiskey Sierra experimental.
Okay, 262 Whiskey Sierra is a call sign of the civilian airplane. Now, typically when you're going to go out on what's called a VFR flight plan, as opposed to an IFR flight plan, all the flights I do are IFR. They're instrument flight rules. VFR are visual flight rules. They're slightly different, but you can occupy similar airspace. You're going to tell them what your destination is. You're going to tell them that you're a VFR aircraft, and you're going to tell them your call sign, and then you're going to ask for flight following. What is flight following? Flight following is simply them watching you on the radar like they would an IFR airplane, a commercial jet like mine, and they're going to give you updates on traffic and so forth, and then they're going to hand you off from frequency to frequency. It's kind of nice. You can sort of be on your own, but at the same time, you've got the cover, the umbrella of the radar following you. This guy is kind of sort of asking for that, but everything he does is kind of convoluted.
Okay, give me your call sign again and your intended altitude.
262 Whiskey Sierra.
Okay.
And your planned altitude.
Planned altitude is 8,000.
Okay, you're going at an IFR altitude, if that's your plan?
I'll explain in a minute.
No, VFR. I can go lower, it doesn't matter.
Oh, the altitude is your discretion, sir, but 8,000 is the IFR altitude.
Okay. It is.
Okay, let's make it 5,000.
VFR needs to be with a 5 after it, sir. 3,500, 4,500, 5,500, 6,500, 7,500.
Okay, you see the controller getting exasperated with this guy almost immediately. When you get your pilot's license, you are trained in the difference between VFR flying and IFR flying. IFR flying is always at a even altitude, not even like in the number, but it has a zeros behind it. You would add 500 feet to that altitude if you're flying VFR. Why? IFR traffic needs to be separated from VFR traffic. So every VFR flight plan on the planet would be at 3,500, 4,500, 6,500, whatever it is. He walks them through that. This guy should know that, and he's just not there.
Any altitude you want, but it's a 500 altitude.
There you go.
Very good. 5,500 requested.
262 Whiskey Sierra after departure, maintain VFR, padded below 2,000. Fort Myers departure 126.8, squawk 4646.
VFR at 2,000 or below, squawking 4646.
So VFR below 2,000 feet would be 1,500 feet. That's what he's cleared to. He's given a squawk of 4646. That's so everybody in the world can identify him, and he can get that VFR flight following he's been asking for. We'll be right back to this situation. But first, I have to tell you about today's sponsor, Incogni. I travel a lot, and every time that I do, I'm constantly giving my information away to somebody. When I need a taxi in London, when I'm checking into my hotel, I've been asked for personal information at restaurants. And then I wonder why my phone is just taken over by spam. My inbox is full, my phone is always ringing, and my text messages are flooded with spammers trying to sell me something or get my personal information. And that's why I'm so excited to be partnering with today's sponsor, Incogni. Incogni reaches out to data brokers on your behalf, requests your personal data be removed, and handles all of the roadblocks they put up. And the best part is that the whole process is automated. That makes it almost pilot-proof. They also make sure that your data stays off the market by conducting repeated removals and taking your data down if it pops up again. This can help to protect you from people taking out loans in your name, reducing robocalls, or being taken advantage of by data brokers. It can even keep your data out of the hands of health insurance companies trying to raise rates. Yeah, that's actually a thing. I'll drop a link in the description. The stories are absolutely chilling. The whole process was super easy. Just 3 simple steps. Number 1, create an account. Number B, Grant Incogni the right to represent you. And number 3, enjoy your flight, because Incogni does the rest. Incogni is offering my viewers a special 60% discount off the annual plan. Visit the link in the description to learn more, and thanks to Incogni for sponsoring this video. It really helps us to make more content for you.
Did you get the departure frequency?
No, I didn't. It's 126.8.
So that's the departure frequency. Do you have ATIS information alpha?
Information Alpha, thank you.
Asking you if you have it. Do you have it?
Yes, I do. With
Okay,
Alpha.
so this guy's giving him partial answers. He does have the information. He's not very good on the radios. He doesn't understand the discipline of flying in any sort of airspace, and the controller is going to get on the ground is getting real exasperated with him. Wait till he gets airborne. Hang in for this.
For 2 Whiskey Sierra, Roger, advisory check.
I don't understand. Can I go to 1.5 or what?
Sir, advise me when you are ready to taxi.
Tell me when you're ready to go. I'll tell you where to go.
Good. Ready to taxi, sir.
Number 262 Whiskey Sierra, runway 5. Taxiing westbound on the ramp, join Alpha.
Going to runway 5 on Alpha taxiway.
Sir, at this airport, when you're ready for departure, you just call the tower on the tower frequency.
Okay, he's walking him through all the stuff that he would have gotten like on his first instructional flight in an airplane. He would have gone to ground school for a few weeks, learned all these things, then gotten in an airplane for the first time. This ground controller is having to walk him through all of that stuff. Not everybody who has a pilot's license can be a commercial professional pilot. You see the difference now between the two.
262 Whiskey Sierra, ready for departure, runway 5.
262 Whiskey Sierra, pace tower, hold short, runway 5, landing traffic.
Okay,
Holding short.
telling him to hold short. He repeats it back. Good. That's the first thing you got right all day.
262 Whiskey Sierra, fly runway heading, runway 5, clear for takeoff.
Okay, clear for takeoff.
262 Whiskey Sierra, departing, runway heading.
Okay, he's off. He's on in the air.
2 Whiskey Sierra, contact Fort Myers departure on 126.8. Whiskey Sierra, contact Fort Myers departure.
Okay, so he's having to repeat it. The guy's not responding to him. Something's going on here. This guy was real kind of, sluggish on the ground. Now he's airborne, and they're having problems.
262 Whiskey Sierra, Fort Myers departure, yep.
262 Whiskey Sierra.
262 Whiskey Sierra, radar contact, turn right heading on 170, vector climb, maintain VFR 2,500.
Okay, that's a typical clearance. Right turn to 170, climb to 2,500. Now, a disciplined pilot, a qualified pilot like this guy is, must read back that clearance word for word with his call sign. So he's got to say, turning right to 170, climbing to 2,500, 262 Whiskey Sierra. That's all he's got to say. Let's see how he does.
Continue my climb to, say again,
262 Whiskey Sierra, maintain VFR 2,000.
So he repeats it.
maintain 2,500. Course is now what?
Now what?
262 Whiskey Sierra, turn right heading on 170, maintain VFR 2,500, vector get you stop of our subject.
Okay, he repeats it the third
120,
time.
stay at 2,500.
Number 262 is here. I don't have time to talk to you 4 times per control instructions because there's a lot going on. Please listen up. Fly heading 170, maintain VFR 2,500, over.
Okay, when you hear a controller say the word over, that's one of the biggest insults out there. Okay, it means that you're an idiot and you're not listening. And back in the old days, if you watch a airplane movie from the 1930s or 40s, they said over and out, that kind of thing. It's designed to be like a slap in the back of the head. So he is now very frustrated with this guy.
17, stay at 2,500.
I need a call sign with a control instruction.
Say the call sign.
Sierra, verify. 170 heading 2,500.
With your call sign.
262 Whiskey Sierra, 2500 at 17.
All right, you're not saying anything correctly to us,
Okay, so again, something's up with this guy. Either he's sick or he's really unqualified to fly an airplane, and it could be a combination of the two. He's having a hard time getting it out. He knows better than this. This guy, if he owns his own airplane and he's got a private pilot's license, he's been trained on this. He wouldn't have got his license had he not been. He repeats back these really weird things, and you're going to see here in a minute.
6 time now.
There's something wrong.
Heading 170.
Heading is 170, Whiskey Sierra, 262 Whiskey Sierra.
Number 6 Bravo Alpha, contact line at center 137.2.
172, let me get it, Bravo Alpha.
Number 2 Whiskey Sierra, your altitude also indicates 2,900 and you're restricted to 2,500.
Okay, he's now at the wrong altitude. So he was given 2,500. He's 400 feet above that. Remember, IFR traffic could be at 3,000 feet. So he might be interfering with some VFR traffic. Watch.
I'm pulling back the power and going down to 2,500.
Number 2 Whiskey Sierra, please use your call sign when you give me the altitude read back.
Always,
Hey,
always
120,
call sign.
just to maintain 1,500, Southwest 1921.
10,000 leaving 2,500 for 4476.
Number 2 Whiskey Sierra, I need your call sign when you read back the altitude. Verify, maintain 2,500.
I'm at 2,500, 262 Whiskey Sierra, 170.
Thank you.
It's the first time he got it all right. Right. You can hear all the other traffic in the area, right? It's pretty congested. This guy needs to stay where he is, and he needs to get his discipline down on the radios.
This is Stu Whiskey Sierra from up heading on 150.
Heading 150, 262 Whiskey Sierra.
Okay, he got that right.
150.
Makes a slight left turn.
You said there at your 11 o'clock at 1,500 feet. Enough.
For traffic, 262 Whiskey.
All right. He says something like super traffic, and then he calls out his call sign real fast, like in a panic. I don't know if that's I see traffic or something, but obviously something's going to happen here, and you're going to see in a minute. This guy's in a panic, and
Mayday, mayday.
he calls out a mayday. So that comes from 262 Whiskey Sierra. He calls out a mayday. He's in trouble. Here's what happens next. Okay, and he crashes next. So here's the story now, and we kind of put up on the screen for you, but when the controller advised the pilot of nearby traffic, the pilot responded that he was looking. The airplane's pitch now, we got this on the flight data recorder afterwards, pitched up strongly. Probably what happens is he stalled at that point. When you stall, the nose will drop through, the wing will fall down, and the airplane will start a spiral. What's going on with this guy? I don't know. They said afterwards in the findings that he had an enlarged heart. He might have been having some issues. He was on some medications that probably could lead to some sort of disorientation. All of those things were probably factors. That's why pilots have to go through rigorous physicals every 6 months, make sure that they're in good health, and any medication that they're on gets authorized by the FAA. So for this guy to have his license and to fly, I'm assuming that it was a part of his medical examination with his aero medical examiner. It might not have been, but it should have been. There's lots of things that this guy did on the ground and in the air that were completely non-standard and unprofessional, and honestly, he should have had his ticket pulled before he ended up doing what he did, which is killing himself. And fortunately for the rest of us, he didn't kill a bunch of other people along with him. But I wanted to show you this video today to contrast the difference between a professional commercial pilot, the quality that you get there, and the quality that you can get from somebody that just has a pilot's license. It is absolutely stark. And then the patience that the controllers have dealing with somebody, but again, they come to a limit of their patience and they're saying, look, I don't have time to talk to you 5, 6, or 7 times to give you a simple instruction that any basically first month pilot ought to have. This guy didn't have that down. Was there some extenuating circumstance with his health? There might have been. He probably shouldn't have gone flying that day. So here's a heads up, folks, on what's out there in air traffic world. Sometimes people go out and fly in an airplane and they shouldn't. It's the same as getting in your car and driving someplace. You're driving down the road and you scratch your head every once in a while and say, how did that person ever get their license? Well, it's no different with pilots. The standard fluctuates dramatically. I can tell you this, when you get on a commercial airline, or good old Captain Steve, the standard is as high as it possibly gets. You are in good hands in any commercial endeavor that you fly in this country. So folks, I wanted to show that to you. Now you know. I'm Captain Steve. Fly safe.